Okay, let's talk about something really important. Going through a divorce is, to put it mildly, incredibly difficult. And right in the middle of it all, you had to figure out how to divide property in Snohomish County, where the financial stakes are just massive. Making sure you get a fair and legally solid value for your home, that's probably one of the biggest financial moves you'll ever make. So let's get into how to do it the right way.
This really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When everything feels so complex and emotional, how do you trust that the number placed on your biggest asset is actually accurate? And, more importantly, will it stand up in a legal setting? This is about so much more than just a number. It's about your financial future and making sure everything is fair.
And here's why it gets tricky. A divorce appraisal is a completely different animal than the appraisal you got for your mortgage. They are not interchangeable. And understanding that difference is absolutely crucial.
So check this out. A standard appraisal, right? That's for a lender when you're buying or refinancing. It's pretty straightforward. But a divorce appraisal, that's a legal document. It's potential evidence. It has to meet these super strict court standards. And the appraiser, they might actually have to get on the stand and testify, defending their work. It's a whole different ballgame. You're not just hiring someone to give you a price, you're hiring an expert witness.
And if you get this part wrong, the fallout can be huge. If you use an appraiser who doesn't specialize in this, their report could literally get thrown out by the judge. And what does that mean? It means you're back to square one. You're wasting time, you're wasting a ton of money, and you're adding so much more stress to an already stressful situation. It's a risk you just can't afford to take.
So how do we avoid that whole nightmare scenario? Well, it's not about luck. It's about having a solid process. Let's just walk through a really simple step-by-step guide to finding the exact right expert for you in Snohomish County.
All right, think of this as your go-to checklist. Step 1, and this is a big one, verify their license with the state. You're looking for the words Certified Residential Appraiser. That's a higher level of qualification. Step 2, ask them straight up about their experience with divorce cases. It's a specialty. Third, make sure they really know Snohomish County, the differences between Milk Creek, Everett, Edmonds. Local knowledge is key for accuracy. Step 4, do your homework, check reviews, and better yet, ask your lawyer for a referral. And finally, number 5, you have to insist on a USPAP-compliant report. Remember that acronym, USPAP. It's the gold standard the courts require.
Okay, so beyond those basic steps, there are a few things that are just, well, they're non-negotiables. This is like your final quality check before you even consider hiring someone.
And one of those non-negotiables is knowing how to do this, a retrospective appraisal. This is so important. It's not about finding what your house is worth today, it's about determining its value on a specific date in the past, usually the date of separation. It's a much more complex skill and requires a totally different kind of research.
So, to pull it all together, here is your final quality checklist. 1, they must have that certified residential appraiser license. 2, they deliver USPAP-compliant reports, no exceptions. 3, they have experience with the legal side of things, depositions, maybe even testimony. 4, they know the Snohomish County market inside and out. And 5, and this is huge, they are strictly 100% impartial. Their job is to find the objective truth, not to help one side or the other.
All this theory is great, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's use a local firm as a quick case study, just to see how all these pieces fit together.
So here's a perfect example of what you're looking for. A specialist firm like this would tick all the boxes we just talked about. See? They specialize in divorce appraisals. They deliver those crucial USAPA reports. They have the deep local market expertise. They're experienced in retrospective appraisals. And here's the key. They're trusted by local family law attorneys. This is what the profile of a true expert looks like. We're showing their info just to give you a concrete, real-world example of the kind of specialist that provides that rock-solid, defensible valuation that you absolutely need for court.
Okay, now you're armed with all this knowledge. But before you hire anyone, you need to be the one asking the questions. So for our last step, let's give you the exact script you need.
These 5 questions are your shield. You have to ask them. First, how many divorce appraisals have you done specifically in Snohomish County? You want someone who does this all the time. 2, are you experienced with retrospective appraisals? Get a clear yes. 3, will my report be USPAP compliant and ready for court? No ambiguity allowed. 4, can you give me references from family law attorneys? That tells you they're respected by the pros. And finally, what's your turnaround time so you know what to expect?
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one final thought. The question you should be asking isn't just,
what's my house worth? The real question, the one that truly matters in a divorce, is this. Is this valuation built on a foundation strong enough to hold up in court? Because when it comes to protecting your financial future, that's the only answer that counts.